Welcome to Your Tru Awakening, the podcast for creators and leaders who are done faking it and are ready to live from their soul. I'm your host, Sandra Tru, here to help you break from old patterns, reclaim your energy, and rise into your most magnetic, purposeful led life. Each week, we dive into a powerful conversation and practical tools to help you stop performing and start creating a life that actually feels like you. So let's get started. I am so excited for today's conversation. My guest is a very, very special woman. She is Giselle Fiumara. She's the founder of Kundalini Tribe, a global ecosystem devoted to bringing high frequency embodiment into modern life and business. Her work bridges sacred practice and real world presence, from sunrise rituals and mantra to community gatherings in Miami and inside iconic venues like Faena and Soho Beach House. Her work is rooted in tradition, yet alive with feminine grace and fire. That's why we connect so well. Giselle has created a living, breathing path of Kundalini for today's world. One that doesn't stay hidden in caves or in yoga studios, but pulses through daily life, through relationships, and in personal leadership. Through her breath, movement, and meditation, she guides others to regulate their nervous system, expand their consciousness, and remember who they really are. Welcome, Giselle. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. What an introduction.
The introduction should have been much greater. You are a gem. It's been so beautiful to know you and see you and witness you and see myself in you and radiate with you, and also see such a beautiful mirror, a woman that is so much fun and also so embodied in discipline and ritual and alignment. Like you're a friend. I know you personally. Really lovely to see someone living with a great level of responsibility, because that's what it is, enjoying it. And so I see you.
Thank you. Thank you. I see you too. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you.
If I was to ask you, if we go beyond the bio and all these accolades, you have done so many trainings and you train and you do all these things, but if we go beyond it and get a little personal, can you take us to a moment when your body said, okay, enough, it's not, I'm done with the hustle. There's a different way. There must be a different way to live. And when was that? What was that like?
Well, that takes me to the moment in which I was overwhelmed with corporate, and we had to take a pause with the pandemic to work from home. I remember that I always wanted to have my weekday that I had to work from home, but this time was extended. And it felt so good. I was like, I don't want to go back to an office. I don't want to be there. Why do I have to be in a cage? And I always called myself like a corporate advocate. I wouldn't have imagined myself being an entrepreneur or not being in an office and behind a desk. And that clicked for me, and I was like, this is freedom. Why do I have to go to an office? So I was praying for not to go back. And when the time was coming and there were some requisites to go back to an office, I was like, I will extend this as long as I can without having to go back, and then I will resign, because this is not what I want. This is not what I want after years of my career in corporate. This is not the way that I envision my future and the way that I really want to spend my time, my energy. And I'm not being of service either. That was another part. So that was the moment in which I said, I am helping a big corporation to make or to earn a lot of money, and I don't feel fulfilled. What is this? So there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. There has to be a better way for me to use my energy and my intelligence and my passion in a different way. I cannot continue with this. So that was the moment of, I want to stop this. And that for me, hustle was corporate 100%. When I came to the corporate, not to the corporate, when I came to the entrepreneurship, path. Of course, there were also moments, but it's different because I have freedom and this is what I chose. So I remind myself, this is what you chose, and you know how you can change a frequency in a second. So I go back to myself and keep going, because it's easier to get back to the hustle. I think it's a human, I wouldn't say that it's a human condition, but I'm from Argentina. I was born in Argentina. So, you know how it is in our countries, that we were trained to survive. So that hustle mentality is ingrained in us. We have to work to get out of that mindset. So
not only we have to work, but we have to bleed and work hard, and it feel, you know, and the celebration of when you're burning out, and it's like, you know, you get celebrated when your life is miserable, and you have to say, right, it's like, it's not, I work with a lot of people, and I know that it's not just from our countries, although we kind of can see it more, I don't know, for some reason in Latin America, I guess because of how much people are a lot more connected in some way. But I think it's how society has been built over the last hundreds of years, which is we have been celebrated for our productivity. And actually society is completely designed for that. That's why, you know, when I joke that we come into the world and they make you go behind a desk, you know, the first thing is like, here's your first box. And then the next one is like, here's the cubicle, right? And then the next one is like, that's your coffin, and like be in a box your whole life. And so that survival mentality is also our reptilian brain. It's like, it's been very helpful. And most of us don't know that we are living our lives letting that lead us, instead of finding the safety in this personal system in our body, in our nervous system, that can help us listen to what else the greatest part of us is saying, which is why I love the work that you're doing. I've taken your classes, and you know, I see you were both yogis and nervous system repair, and understanding the energy, the world through the subtle, right? Like, what is it that we are resonating at? What is the information that's moving out of us when we are not speaking, which is our creative expression all the time, not just the art that we're doing, but literally the I like to think of it as music, right? The musicality that is putting us on the right frequency, right? And so I love that's your work now too. And so how did you end up making this shift of like knowing, like, I know what I want to do? Like, what was the practice in order for you to open up to listen to that?
Well, it was Kundalini yoga, Kundalini technology, 100%.
Which is a science, by the way.
Yes, it's a science, it's a technology, it's a high frequency embodiment. It's working with your energy, and that is the technology that put me in my path. And also I understood a lot of things, but I learned how to, what you said, to listen to the subtle, to listen to the changes in my frequency, changes in my energy, when I wasn't feeling aligned, when I was not in my path, when things were not happening because I was creating that reality. So my life changed, and that gave me freedom and understanding and accepting and seeing things in a different way. Yes, it was Kundalini technology through mantra, because I started through mantra. I always say that I wasn't a big yogi before, not at all. I was always connected. I was always very intuitive, but I didn't know what it was. I knew that there was something there, and I could feel or see synchronicities, but I was not a yogi. And on a solo trip in Bali is where I listened to a song, quote unquote, that was a mantra for protection, that it's Mangala Charan mantra Ad Gurev Name, that we chanted at the beginning of every class. And I didn't know it was a Kundalini mantra. So it was a song for me. And 2 years after, when I came back, when I was already living here back in Miami, that mantra came to me, and I realized that it was a Kundalini mantra. And I started chanting and chanting. So through the activation of my voice, I started connecting with the practice and with the technology. And then, well, it was a ripple effect. Once you start, once you discover it, once you start feeling how it feels within, it's such a beautiful texture to feel the resonance inside of your body that it's like, what is this? And I remember spending Saturday nights listening to mantras and chanting. Saturday nights, like the entire Saturday, I'm feeling and dancing. I was doing it my way, but that is what opened myself up. And then I did my trainings and everything. And I did my training for myself because I wanted to connect with my soul. I was giving away to other people to tell me what was going to happen because I couldn't be okay with the unknown. I couldn't accept the unknown. I had to have everything in control. I'm a Virgo moon, Capricorn rising. I'm glad that I have my Cancer part there that makes me more sensitive, but I had to have everything under control. And that's why I said before that I understood a lot of things. One of them is that we don't have anything under control. We don't know anything. And we don't know what we don't know, which is even one step further. Yes.
So funny because it's like the only certainty is that we don't know.
Totally.
Right? The only thing we have in the world and that we could do in order to give us like groundedness in ourselves is wisdom and understanding. There are two paths. And one of the paths that I think you and I relate is the path of the ecstatic, right? And the path of the ecstatic is feeling God moving through your body, however you want to call it, the life, vibration, the universe, ecstasy.
Totally.
Like when you feel that you're being poured through love because you found a way in, right? Mysticism is a way in. Finding that connection, that devotion, the discipline of showing up and seeing how it starts to clear your illusion, it starts to organize your emotions, it starts to help you pattern your life, which I think is like the most beautiful thing you can wear is your personal practice, right? It's the most attractive thing a person can put on themselves is having the consistent practice. Because no matter what happens to your life, your practice is like a perfume that draws beauty in, it draws light in, it draws energy, and you literally start to teach your physical body how to hold more electricity because you're training yourself to have more capacity for aliveness, for love, for focus, for just being in without distraction, right? Like the beauty of a practice is that you show up and you show up and you show up, and then you start to find who's there, right? Like who else is there? Who else is there from what I thought I was?
Yes, yes. And that's another element for me to not be in the hustle. It's my sadhana. Every morning I do my sadhana. I sit with myself with my eyes closed before sunrise. I share it with my tribe, with my Kundalini tribe, but it's my practice that I share it. And that is my spiritual hygiene. I do that every morning, and then my day is like, it's total focus. It's like I don't get distracted. And if one day I cannot do it, or 2 days I cannot do it, I feel the difference. This is what I was saying before, is that you feel the texture of the frequency in your body. And this is embodiment. I feel it. I totally feel when I'm not in alignment. And that doesn't mean, as you said, like I have to be on a cave. It's in real life. In real life, being an entrepreneur, creating, like using my Kundalini energy that we all have, to create my businesses, to create more things for my tribe, to create events. I never stop. It's like, okay, I left corporate because I was super like working a lot, a lot. Now I'm doing the same, but in a different way, because I'm doing it with passion and with purpose.
Yeah, which is the difference, right? It's like there comes a point where if you have a calling that it's deeper, the path of obligation becomes so unbearable that the fear that's keeping you from moving towards your purpose becomes the fastest, the easiest path, even if it's even if it's so scary. And if anybody is listening to this and you have a calling, like at some point it's gonna be more uncomfortable not to answer it.
Totally.
Because like it will nag on you and it will nag on you. And when you're doing a life, it's like there's no way I work less, right? But there's the difference of living a life of obligation or feeling like I have to, I should, I must, than that I want to, because you are a part of life, and life is forever increasing and increasing and expanding and wanting to multiply, because that's what we are, right? That's what we are.
Yes.
We're forever making, loving, birthing, and giving birth, and like that's what life does. I love that so much. When you think about being on like the how we soften, right? And we magnetize when we soften. Like that's the thing that's happening. When we stop doing the the functioning from our head and we come into experience, which is through the body, we learn to open the nervous system. We learn to open our own body and we soften. And that is magnetism. What is something that you're still that you have learned to receive without guilt or control?
Woof, what a question. Well, without guilt, I would say support and help from the masculine.
Yeah.
Because I always felt easier to receive support and help from the feminine. From the masculine was not easy for me to, and I still work on it, because I was such in like independent, working, being the boss lady in my masculine energy, wounded, of course, because it's not natural. I started softening little by little, peeling the layers. This practice helped me a lot. But that is something that and I wouldn't say the support from the masculine. I would say the care and the loving, nurturing masculine. Because I also had a distorted image of how the masculine had to be. It had to be strong, it had to be tough, it has to be like my father. So accepting the loving, caring, nurturing, masculine man was something that I had to learn how to accept without guilt and without control. Because in my past, I was in a way competing with men, because a big part of my professional career, I worked with German engineers, because I worked for Volkswagen as a marketing director, and my boss and my colleagues were all in the car automotive. They were either engineers or, so I had to become, in a way, I remember the moment in which like I said, if I want to survive in this world, I had to become kind of a man. So I was a man in my work personality and the projection of my energy, and I was dressed as a woman, and I was even dressed more like a woman to compensate. But I was totally in my masculine, and then no one could get in. It was very difficult.
Such deep work, right?
Say it again?
Such deep work to remove that pattern. It's been similar for me too. Like something I separated recently from an engagement, and you know, it's like it's very easy to say, well, it didn't work. I think it really worked. I think that season was very helpful for me. I hope that it was very helpful for my partner. My ex-partner, great guy, great man. But the one thing, in hindsight and doing so much of the work that I've been doing, has been like understanding of the the lack of trust for the masculine, not just in but like to the masculine face of creation, even to like, it's been so deep to
Wow.
uncover like, oh my God, there's like a strand that you know, a child that grew up without her father, without the, like, I've done so much work, years of work on that, and still feeling like the energetic of that was still present there, and taking full responsibility for that. And then like being in even a greater level of surrender now, because I could see that pattern of like, wow, and here I am feeling super feminine and super like surrendered into this experience. And but there it was at such a subtle level. So what where does that come from, right? It's like life is asking us forever to scan ourselves and figure out, where are we not trusting, where are we gripping, because that grip is what's keeping us from being beyond hustle. I think hustle is a, like everything that's unconscious, is a necessary step to consciousness. And then there's another way, there's an easier way. Because anytime that we're gripping hard, I like to think about it like ice, right? It's like ice that you pour water in the ice, and it's just like nothing can penetrate, nothing can come in, you can't open. But if it's fluid, like if our system is fluid like water, then we can receive, just like, you know, I think I was telling you about this, right? Like
Yeah.
the contemplation that I was here, like having that vision, like receiving the river can receive the rain, or the ocean can receive the rain, like really open to receive. And that trust really comes from doing the work of relaxing more and more, and looking at, where am I gripping in my life, right? So is there a place in your life where you are perhaps working on expanding your capacity to trust?
Well, and this is a big thing, 100%. And also, I realized lately as well that I have such a capacity to create, but I was also blocking myself. I was sabotaging myself because of deep fear, right? Because of the fear of, am I ready to go the next step? What does it require? I'm talking about anything that I'm creating in my business, in my entrepreneurial side. And it started to happen this year, in which I was saying, why I don't do that I know that I have to do to get there. Why do I block myself? Why am I not allowing myself to trust and go? So it's a work that I'm doing day by day, starting this year with putting together and accepting all my parts, because I was on denial of my business experience, that I have it for a reason. But I knew there was a reason. I didn't know why, what the reason was. So this, at the beginning of the year, I started to integrate all my parts. So I started a journey of, okay, I have all this knowledge, let's create impact. And since day one of this year, I literally woke up and came straight to my laptop, and I didn't even think about it. It was the 1st of January. It was like boom to my laptop, because I was flowing in a way a little bit more, seeing what was happening and getting the opportunities that were coming, that I was creating, but they were coming. So now I'm like, no, I need to have a plan, because I'm a strategist. So why I am not using the tools for myself? I'm guiding people with consulting in conscious marketing, but why I'm not doing it for myself? So this is something that I started working on this year, and I'm still peeling the layers of the fear of where can I get? Where am I going? Right? And like blocking myself.
Yeah. I love it. This year I created my goal, like just like that super restructuring because my life changed so much and I created all these goals and then I sat with them and I was like, okay, but what is the moonshot goal? What is something that they would like crack me up? And I forced myself to create goals that would terrify me to say out loud. And I think that that's the work that we have to do. Like how much can we allow ourselves to desire, which is also a feminine trait, and so many practices have told us, desire is the enemy or whatever it is. When in reality, it's like you can't not desire. I was talking to someone on another podcast, to my friend Sandeep, about this, but it's a feminine practice, right? To allow ourselves to reach. It's like a kid reaching for its toy. Like we naturally do that. It's who we are. If you look at women in nature and men, what is one thing that could be a wound that will be helpful for us to transmute in order to get us into our power of creation?
Wow, these questions, they were not, I didn't know the questions before. Let me, connect with this.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed that, I don't know if it's a wound, prevents people from stepping in their power is commitment. It's commitment in terms of your discipline, your personal discipline, the commitment with your growth, the commitment with what is that I have to do to be in my power? Because power is something that is within, and then you project it outside, and all the pieces get like the puzzle. They get together, click, 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 they click without you doing anything. It's about this magnetism. But that's what I feel. And I see it. It's not only that I feel it. I see it. I see it with students. I see it with my tribe members. I was getting last year and the years before a lot of students that were not committed, and it made me feel sad because I could see so much potential, but it was not my journey. So I remember asking last year that I wanted to call in more committed students, so we could really, 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 really do the work together and go further. Because that helps me to go further, to go deeper in what I teach, in what I create, like containers. And it started happening. And I have students now that are so committed that we do a 40-day, I don't know, we did a 40-day Shakti Power, we call it one challenge, that it's a prayer for 40 days. Some people are in their 150. We Yeah, we are in a chat, in a WhatsApp chat, a chat that is my Kundalini tribe inner circle, I call it, for the members. So we have different chats for the challenges because not all of them are in the same ones. So we said, okay, let's do it for 40 days. They keep going and keep going, and they convince others to get in. And this is a container that I never close, the challenges that I open. So there's people that are going 150 days. One student, one super committed student, asked me to do a frogs one that is for their sexual energy, transmutation, and to ground and to elevate the Kundalini energy también, the frogs. And it's such a powerful and very difficult asana. And he, because it's a man, said to me, let's create a 108 days challenge. And let's follow it in, like coming from them. So we created it. And today he finished the 108 days.
Wow. Oh my God.
So that commitment of people that
Wow.
were not yogis, they are not yogis either. They practice, let's say that they are yogis because they do Kundalini every day. They do the sadhana with me and everything. But normal people, like all of us, like you don't have to be in the cave, but you don't have to be a monk.
or have done the trainings or have traveled to India. No, these are normal people. By the way, I have woken up to do I have my own personal practice, right? And I love, like right now, so much of my practice is being in my altar in the dark and then going to move in the for the sunrise. And it's like doing it's the most beautiful thing that's happening to me, because I feel the purification, just like the refinement of waking up to beauty. But there's something so special about waking up and going straight to devotional, to me work. It is like it's me work. And I
Yeah.
think when we create that historical evidence that I show up for myself first, we start to increase our understanding of personal worth, of our own personal worth. That our worth is not dependent on what we do and how much we get and how much we produce, but that our worth is such a gift, and it starts to feel like I can't do anything else but pour it out, because it feels so delicate and powerful and sacred. And then you start to understand that it is no different from what you're praying toward, from your chanting, from the experience. You start to understand at a somatic and visceral level that your communion with yourself actually creates a window for your connection with divinity, with this moment, with what is the breath but the inhalation and allowing of God to be fully in us, right? And it's just like,
Yes, and also if you, because I always love to bring, that's why I say that it's like rooted in Kundalini for busy souls. I say that what I create. It's like to bring it to the practical life. When you do that, when you do your sadhana, whatever your practice is, in the morning, you sit with yourself, as you said, trigger yourself, because it's not sitting there to just, it's trigger yourself and you want to continue sleeping. That's commitment. I'm here, I'm doing it for myself. Any other thing that you do in your life, it gets amplified. Like you are more successful, your health gets boosted, and your relationships, everything. It's not that you do that, oh yeah, and now I'm a nun and I'm such a beautiful, good person, and I love and light and for everyone. It's not only that. It's because it opens your heart, of course, but it's like every single thing that you do gets amplified. It's in steroids. It's like you're working for yourself and for others, and your work, your ideas, your mind is so clear. You're so focused. My tribe members like laugh sometimes during sadhana that I get my phone and I start writing things, and I say, I'm so sorry that I have to stop a little bit here, but I need to write an idea that came. If I don't write it, I forget it. Because we're such in in a moment that it's like in a dream. If you don't write it down as soon as you wake up, you forget what. The same in sadhana. I finish the asana and I get my phone, and they know that I'm writing. And some mornings are like boom, 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 things that come to me, that then those are the things that I implement, and the ones that work the best. So it's like really sitting with yourself and organizing your nervous system, all your bodies, your mental, emotional, physical, energetic.
yeah.
Why not doing it? So for me, it's like, I would love at least like once everyone try any deep spiritual practice, to feel it, to embody it. You will say, why am I not doing this every day? It doesn't need to be in the morning, early morning, if you have other commitments or you have kids, or we have different lifestyles that we choose and we decide what we do or not. But at least to sit with yourself and feel your energy, learn how to breathe, learn how to connect with yourself so you can connect and show up for others. And what happens when you do that with yourselves, people will start to connect with you and they will start to show up for you, because that's what you're mirroring.
Yeah. And also, no, you can't be present with anyone unless you're present with yourself. If you're not present with yourself, what you're going to be seeing in other people is just a projection of what you think they are, and keep them stuck in boxes, because you're keeping yourself stuck in a box.
Yes, and you will see in others what you're lacking, what is not complete in you. We will never be fully completed. I always say that we were enlightened beings, we wouldn't be here. We are here because we came here to do the work. This is cool. This is.
I love that you brought that piece in. I really love integral thinking, integral holistic thinking. And one of my favorite teachers, his work is just integrating so many maps of consciousness that I'm very passionate about, is Ken Wilberg. And Ken Wilberg, he speaks about it as allergies or addictions. It's like those things that we see in other people that we don't like, that we're just like, oh, and I don't like that. And you look at how horrible that is. And this is, by the way, also the things that we're seeing in the world, right? Oh, they're inside of us. And with these practices, we get to like release, understand that we are a projector, that we have a projection, that we're projecting our stories, our shadows onto others. But then he speaks about our addictions and the things that we're like, oh my God, that person is so great, I could never do it. It's like fanatism. And that's also the things that are in our shadows. That's also there. That's also a projection that we're putting outside on other people. So if you're hearing this and if there's something that you admire so greatly in someone else, or that you reject and are disgusted by someone else, understand that that is your work. You can only see something because it is a part of you. And that, like, when we start looking at, if you're listening to this and if you're stuck in a moment of your life where you're just like, I really feel, but how are they doing it? It's like, we also did not know how we were going to do it. We listen, we stop, we pause, we regulate it. We allow ourselves to feel, to be in the chaos, to be in the unknown, and to emerge from practice. It really comes from practice, that you do not you did not get yourself into another state until you feel the build up of your confidence by doing anything that you're doing. You build yourself up to do it by showing up. And practices like yoga, art, Kundalini, whatever it is that you do, that you stick to it with, like as a disciple of what you're loving, will help you reveal, emerge in your truth. Giselle, if I was to ask you, if you were having a conversation with your younger self, and she was still deep in hustle mode, right? Like deep in that competition with men, what would you? And she was sitting across the table from you. What would you whisper, if you could whisper to her heart in a way that she could really hear you? What would you say to her?
You know that not usually, but I ask myself several times what I would say to my younger self. And we are the same. This is what comes to me. We are the same for men and women. We're equally sensitive. We're the same. For years, I had the feeling that men didn't have feelings. They wouldn't hurt. They wouldn't care. And they also have their conditionings, and modern society taught them they had to be one way. To be a man. What is it to be a man? What is it to be a woman? So I would say that we're all coming from the same place and we are the same. I don't want to say we're equals, because that gets to another topic, that this is not what I'm talking about. We are
Same, not equal.
yes, exactly. So feel more, and to say, while I'm saying this, I'm trying to think what would have landed in me
Back then.
because I cannot say some words now that they wouldn't have landed. I wouldn't have like gotten it. No. That's why men also feel the same way as us, and no one wants to hurt you. Men don't want to hurt women. we are all doing our best. We are all doing our best with the tools that we have at the moment, in the moment that we are. And we are all trying to find our way back home. And we are all, and I didn't know this, of course, but we are all being mirrors of ourselves. It's like that person, instead of trying to fight with that person or compete with that person, see what that person agreed at a soul level to show you, because there's a contract. So that person is being in your service. It's not against you. It's not trying to hurt you, because it has nothing to do with the other person. So that is what I would say, because I would get super mad at others. Even remember partners saying to me, everything is in you, everything is about you. It has nothing to do with the other. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. That's wrong. So I would say that.
Yeah.
A different way to see another human being as human, not as, I don't know, I see that it's not being wrong, because that's part of the process of evolution of my soul in this incarnation. But with compassion, I would say no one wants to hurt you.
Yeah. Wow, that's so beautiful. It makes me think about what's happening in the world right now, that it's so easy to other somebody else, because the moment we make them other, then it's so easy to accuse, to feel hatred. But when we understand that we all come from that same breath, and that we all come with a heart, with feelings, that some of us have capacity to access more of our feelings, some of us have our capacity to access some of our thinking, and so many other reasons why we look different, we feel different, we express differently, but at the core we all have a human heart, and that the more that we tend to our heart, the easier it is to tend to others and to be there for others, and also to have good boundaries with ourselves and our time. Yeah.
Yes, because now that you're saying this is very, very important. Who we allow to access our energy. It's not like, it's not for everyone. And I'm not saying that, again, we have to be all day at home or choose who we talk to, but our energy is sacred. And there are different levels of access.
Totally.
So we that are teachers or are in contact with a lot of other beings who are exchanging their energies or are demanding our energy for different reasons, we have to as well be sometimes personally impersonal and put boundaries and choose who we give access to our energy, who we allow to be in our presence. And it's not because I'm not saying this, oh, I'm a goddess, because no, that's not my narrative, never ever. But yes, to choose, because in the past I would allow anyone to connect, and I'm talking about a massage, do your hair, any way of energy exchange. I learned how to be more at home with myself, and as we were talking about this the other day, I don't go out that much. I choose the company that I want to.
I know.
I choose the company that I want to share time and space with, and also the moments. Let's go to the beach. I don't want to go to a club as I used to do when I was younger. I prefer daytime, because the energy is lighter. The energy is different. I feel that when I'm out, when I'm at night, it's stronger. It feels stronger because the intentions are different as well from people. I don't know how to explain it, but you know that we speak and connect from different chakras. And the root chakra, or the sacral, that is sexual energy, that can be not in its healthier aspect, in the most lower consciousness maybe, and you find that at home more. So at night more. So that's something that I'm very cautious about too.
And also it's precious. Your sacral energy is so precious and it's so important, and like who we share that with is like it's a gift. Even like in our flirtatiousness, and like, I believe in flirting with life as like I love being the inviting, right? The invitation, but there's also like I have strong boundaries, energetic boundaries with so many people. It's like I never have any issues with anyone, like being talking dirty to me, because like my boundaries are energetic. Like I don't need to like, and I think that comes from self valuing your own, like being so responsible for the fact that this is a moment, this is passing, and what are you going to do about it, and how are you going to channel that energy. I love how you share, sister. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me in my website, that is kundalinitribe.co. They can find me in Instagram, my name and full name, Giselle Fiumara. I also have an app that is kundalinitribe.app. I have my oils as well.
Yeah, you're doing your oils. This is exciting. You want to share the name so people can?
Yes, the name is Eternal.
Thermal.
Eternal, it's infused oils, and it's damask rose that I bring from Europe. And
Wow.
and they yes, I'm launching them very soon, and I won't have that many quantities, so every drop, every launch will be very private, intentional, and limited because of the quantities, and I'm doing them in very special moments of the year, 4 times for the equinoxes and solstices.
Love that. I love it. That's what happens when you can't stop creating. I love it.
And created feminine things, and this is part of my path, me closer to my feminine too.
I love it. Same here. Same here. Nurturing all of life as much as I can. Thank you, everybody, for coming, for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it with somebody. Please subscribe, and also stay connected with us. You can find my website at sandratru.com. I also work with amazing visionary leaders and entrepreneurs who are ready to stop living a life that keeps them disconnected from who they are, from their body, from their joy, and are ready to start creating lives that reflect who they really are. So stay connected, follow us on our social media. Have an amazing day, and we'll connect with you next week. Thank you so much.